Tariq and General yes. But how many of those no's are actual people that support Tariq but wouldn't want to see him under the political arm or whatever the case be? They are more comfortable with him right where he's at, because you have some folks in the comment like, oh no, I don't want them to hurt you like that, as far as take you up out of here. So how many of those no's were trolls? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you bring up a very valid point on that one too, because we on a social media site too, so you got a bunch of people that's gonna sit up here and just troll and this and that. But like I say, I think depending on the area and the region he's at, he definitely could be effective. He definitely could be effective and definitely could you know what I'm saying, help move the needle in terms of certain situations. Smooth, I see you got your hand up, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you unmute your mic.
Yeah, man, I just wanted to say, like, I think, you got some black people, scared to get the win for us as a unit, you know what I mean? Just look at it. Marcel, he didn't win his election. That just show right there how scared some black people is, They worried about what white people would think and stuff like that. Man, they scared of us having power, and they just used to being like on a plantation, doing whatever master wants them to do. I look at it like that, man. If you ain't voting for nobody like Tariq or Marcel, you just scared. You scared to get what's owed to us. You scared to fight for what's owed to us. You just want to grow old and die without no fight. You know what I mean? And that's what that is right there. The same people that's probably like 70 or some years old, and they be out there, go vote for Joe Biden. And the same people that wasn't doing nothing when you had the Panthers on the roof sniping down the cops, but they was killing a lot of people for no reason. So it's the same thing.
So with that being said, would you vote for Tariq though?
Oh, most definitely, man. Look at the agenda. Most definitely. I would ride for, man, listen. Man, I ride for Tariq all day. You know what I mean? Anybody try to come at Tariq or going after, because I know he fight for us, man. He in the community for real. He ain't no just Twitter space and YouTube. He out there in the streets for real, helping the people, man, helping the community. So most definitely, because he got the agenda I'm looking for, Like, I don't see how you can't vote for people like that. If anybody fighting for us, I don't see how you can't vote for that. I just look at you like you weird. Are you cool with just being a slave, living in a master house? And there's no disrespect, but that's how I look at it. What else you voting for? Look what happened to our ancestors. Look what happened to our people. You still out there looking for answers from white people. You still scared to get what's yours. You got people that's willing to fight for us, but you want to play the background and talk bad about it. That's weird to me, man.
Yeah. I mean, and brother, if you want, what if Tariq was running for office, what do you think he'd be better served at, in a local area where he could actually make an impact with people like in this city or county or whatever? Or you think he would be better served trying to do something national like Marcel did, running for Congress? You think he'd be better served maybe as a mayor, a councilman, a commissioner of his city or county, or you think he'd be better suited running, national on a federal level?
Well, brothers like Tariq and Marcel, you just can't go wrong, whether it's national or local. It's gonna go good, because like I say, they putting their blood on the line for it. They putting their life on the line for it. They fight with them. You know what I mean? Like, they not scared. A lot of these Negroes out here be scared, so they pander to whatever the upper hand tell them, whatever the whiter up tell them and stuff like that. These guys ain't gonna get played like that. They're gonna fight for it. So wherever they at, for black people, it's a win, whether it's local or national.
No doubt. I see you got your hand up. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Oh, hi everybody. Salam. I wanted to just mention that I know you mentioned Arnold Schwarzenegger, but didn't he like have a child with his like nanny that lived in the home with his wife and his children? And
that came out much later, but yeah, he did.
Yeah, but the child he did have that child while he was a governor. I know it came out later. But and then a lot of the people, I think if he did run, I would like to see him run for governor or mayor, because I feel that if someone that's from Austria, not even native to this land, can be the governor of California, then he would definitely get my support if he did so. But that's what I just wanted to say. It's funny how we got so many no's. I think it was some people trolling as well, only because I think he would get the support of the people. But I land there.
That's the thing about somebody like Tariq. He's like a lightning rod, so you know it's going to draw the ire of a lot of people that's outside of the black community, and even those that's in the black community that will go ahead and they'll try to bring up any and every little thing they can. So I personally think he would be better serve myself on a local level. I think when you talk about trying to run for governor, then you have to depend on so many different demographics that actually put you in the office, put you in the place, especially if you're talking about California. Just the demographics you have with white and Asian and Hispanic in California, I think that would be like a, kind of a hard road or hard thing to sell there. But, if you're talking about more of a localized area, something like that, like I put up in the Jumbotron, I said, I responded to the tweet. I said, it all depends on what area of the country you run in. Demographics of age and race play a huge part. The area needs to be predominantly black, ages 18 to 50, I think, in order for him to have a realistic chance of winning or whatever. And I think if he was in a place that he was running in the demographics fit that area where it was predominantly black and you had the 18 to 50-year-olds, I think that he could make a dent and he could win. But like I said, if you're talking about something major like Governor of California, where you're going to have Hispanic votes, you're going to have a lot of white votes, Latino and all of that, I think that would be kind of difficult for him to muster up. Marcel, I see you got your hand up. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
First of all, I think we can't take Twitter surveys always that seriously, especially when it comes to someone like Tariq who has a bunch of trolls. And they start troll accounts just to troll him. Every time he goes live, he gets a lot of them. But I also think the question wasn't, should he run? The question was, do you think he would win? So a lot of people probably voted no who want him to run. They're just saying he probably wouldn't win because of the anti-blackness that they know he's going to face and the sabotage they're going to try to do. Now, I disagree. I think if he ran, he would win. One, because he actually has something that I didn't have. He has his own money. He has name recognition. And he has a massive following. And he should absolutely not run local. California is a majority white state. Bunch of white people and a bunch of white Hispanics. If he was to run local in California, at the very most, he'll be able to do good things for the people there. But what about the rest of us? So we are in a crisis right now. If any of our people want to run and they are on code, we need them to be in federal office where they can do policies that can touch every single last one of us, no matter where we are in this country. And I think he can still win a California district. I mean, California is the state that has sent, Maxine Waters, and that person, I can't stand her, Karen Bass. I hate that damn woman. Barbara Jordan. So California does have black representatives, and there are areas where some districts do have a good-sized black population, but he can always move, too. I mean, what is he went to school in Alabama, and I think he has family in Michigan or something like that. He can always go. It would be great if he went to Alabama and ran in a majority black district there for the House. He should definitely run federally. We need federal candidates. Federal. We need federal policies, federal protection. Now, if he ran federal, not only will he be able to do things that will touch every single black American in this country, he can really push reparations, which is a federal responsibility. But not only that, he can then use his platform to help get other black Americans elected to the federal office. Local is limiting himself. Local is limiting us. He might do something amazing for a little neighborhood in California, but the rest of us, it's not going to do us no good. He needs to win fairly. I think he would absolutely win. He has a massive following. He has name recognition. He has his own resources. And just to be very honest, he has a family. He has a wife. He has children. And he has a black family. And people love that. And that is something that will appeal and help with his image. So I think he should run. I understand why people think he probably would not win. But you know what? A lot of people said we would never be free. A lot of people said that Jim Crow was never going to fall and redlining was never going to fall. And those things are gone on paper, even though we're still dealing with their legacy. So I think he should run. It should definitely be federal. We need federal candidates. Local is not going to give a person enough of a reach, and we are suffering. We're in a crisis, and we have to act like we are by running federal.
Now, let me ask you a real quick question. Now, you were saying that he may move or something. Now, based off of, because I know Maxine Waters, her district is primarily Hispanic and stuff. And I'm saying if he was to run out there in California, to me, I think his best chances would be he would have to be in a predominantly black district, because Maxine Waters and Karen Bass and the rest of them, they don't have a black first agenda, which something Tariq is known for. So do you think that he could win in a district that's not predominantly black out there in California?
Everything is possible. I mean, when Trump went up for re-election, which we all know a lot of us have our suspicions about that election, no one expected him to see a surge, an increase in his support from Black Americans, from women and stuff like that. So anything is possible. The only way you're guaranteed not to win a race is if you don't actually campaign to win the race. Then you're guaranteed to lose. So it's definitely possible. But I would prefer him. I mean, I'm sure he probably has homes in other states. I don't know. If he can run in a area that has a much larger black population, like his home state of Alabama, that would be even better. But I think he could win. I think he could even win in California, possibly. And I don't know what their districts look like. It's a big state that has a lot of districts. I'm pretty sure some of their districts may have a significant black population, especially maybe around Los Angeles. But I think he could win. But anyway, though, it needs to be federal, however he chooses to run.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with running federal, even though, like I said, I myself said local or whatever. If he's going to run federal, though, he has to, in my personal opinion, he has to be in a black district that's at least 50% that black people make up the majority in order for him to win, because I pretty much know how the media is going to come and frame the narrative of him being this black supremacist and this and all this other kind of stuff. So he's going to definitely need to be in an area that's going to embrace him and that's going to reach out to him. Like he has everything that you would want. He has a platform, he has a following, he has the money, he has the family, he has the charisma and everything else that's really needed to go ahead. I mean, because he can hold his own no matter what platform he's on. He can hold his own even against the biggest supremacists in the world or whatever on their platform. So to me, the way to be successful, to ensure victory, would be, like you said, whether it's Alabama, whether it's Georgia, because there's a bunch of districts here in the South that are predominantly black or whatever. He could win, but he would have to be in a majority black region, black area. And I think also he would have to appeal to the age group, the demographics. I said 18 to 50, but definitely 18 to 45, I believe, would definitely be what he would need to go ahead and win to just ensure victory. That's just my personal opinion.
I think he could even get the older. Only thing that stops us from getting older voters is we have a hard time reaching them. He has the money to run commercials. He has the money to do big meet and greets, streaming, text messages, emails, phone calls, newspapers, send paper flyers out, things that really will get older people's attention. And if I had the money to do that, I would have been able to reach the older voters too. Money allows us access to a lot of places, to a lot of other demographics. I think he can even reach them. But I agree. I would like for him to go to his home state of Alabama and run a district there, because that will be great. And like I said, it will be another reparationist, or it will be the first time a true reparationist is in the federal government. And then he can use his federal platform to help candidates throughout the country get in office. Imagine the difference it would have made if one of the Coon for the Congressional Slack Caucus would have said, you know what, I'm going to endorse Greg Marcel Dixon. I'm going to have him on my Instagram, my Twitter. I'm going to interview him. That would have made my platform surge. But that wouldn't have happened. If Tariq gets in office, he can do that for a lot of us who aspire to political office to run a reparations campaign.
Definitely in agreement with you on that part, Marcel. We'll come back to you. We had a couple hands up. Insane, go ahead and we got Insane. We got Ty, we got I Love, DJ also. DJ, I see you said you want to go ahead and get back on here, so we're going to move it around. For those who want to speak, make sure you guys go ahead and unmute your mic. Insane, go ahead and unmute your mic.
All right, what's happening? Hello, everybody in the space. Thanks, Newstoter and Kai for holding the space. I have to agree with Marcel. You know, he's got to a certain degree, he's already got that kind of perspective and that kind of visibility in terms of himself just being able to survey the landscape. He's out there. He's got that kind of visibility. In terms of being in the industry, he's in the film industry, so obviously there's some overlap with all different types of people in the media industry. So he could build out the infrastructure, the type of campaign structure, media apparatus that you would need for a campaign. You know, there's overlap there. Those people who work on films, they freelance, so they go from space to space to project. So it wouldn't be difficult to build out the media apparatus to do that. It would be a question. I don't know that much about California. I'm not very optimistic about it from what I hear about it. And I think our numbers there are significantly dwindling. I'm hearing that Maxine Waters, her district is mostly Hispanic. I mean, I don't really know where the black people are out there. I know nothing about California other than our numbers are dwindling there. So I don't know if that's the space for him, but certainly in the South, in the American South, on up the East Coast, D.C. area, Maryland, Virginia, certain parts of Virginia, he might be able to do well in. But yeah, he could do it. He could absolutely do it. Yeah, no doubt about it.
No doubt. And would you vote?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I had to unmute my mic. Yeah, yes, absolutely, and would be tempted to double dip. Yeah, so I would vote for the man, of course.
Okay, no doubt. Appreciate you stepping in, giving your opinion and whatnot. You guys make sure. I guess the voting is over with. So, like I said, the actual poll, I think you had 54% said no, and 46% said yes. So, like I said, we know there's also a lot of trolls on Twitter, and this is, let's be for real, a social media poll as well too. So, you have to kind of take that with a grain of salt as well. Ty, go ahead and unmute your mic. Ty, are you there? We'll give Ty one more chance, and then we'll go ahead and move on to I Love Ty.
Hello?
Ty, are you there?
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, that's you.
No, hold on a minute. If that's
hey, Charlie,
you,
if that's you, Charlie,
yeah,
who is Charlie? Charlie, go ahead and mute your mic.
Ty, are you there? Somebody raise your hand, Charles, if you want to come up here. I don't quite know how to raise my hand. So. You'll see the heart button next to the microphone. Oh, okay, I got you. Right.
Yeah, and mute your mic. Hey, Ty, are you here? Ty, you here?
He could be on like a phone call or something like that.
Okay, so we're gonna skip Ty, and then we're gonna go to I Love. I Love, go ahead and unmute your mic.
All right, and I'm going to drop down the list. And I just wanted to say, I know we keep mentioning the Hispanic vote, but just as a reminder, the Hispanic are hardline Republican voters against immigration policies. So just to remind to that. So it is a way to I'm sorry. What happened?
No, I was disagreeing with you. A lot of them are very much against immigration, believe it or not.
Absolutely. They're hardline Republican. That's in 2021. That's how the Republicans, so most of them kept their seats. But I'll go ahead and drop down. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. DJ, I know you always like to fall back in it, so we'll go to he. I say the whole name, but he. We'll go ahead and let you unmute your mic.
Thank you, Newstoter. It's Darlene Nikki. I agree with everything that Marcel said. I totally approve of everything that he said. I believe that federally he would make more of an impact for us, and also could inspire other Black Americans to run for federal office as well. I do believe that he should probably be in the South, like his home state. I think he said Alabama, which would be great. I would rather that impact be that large. Because locally, like he said, fixing up a little bit of the people is not working for us. We need to galvanize the majority of our people. And I feel like if we know that Luther Campbell came out and said that he's probably going to run in 2 years, and we know Herschel Walker is, why couldn't he? you know? So, and are we looking at background? You know what I'm saying? So, and to me, Herschel Walker's not really qualified based upon, you know, the intellectual part. And I'm not trying to diss him or anything like that. But, and then on the Luther Campbell, I just never really approved of anything that he has done in the past. So I believe that he can run. I believe that I believe he should run. I believe he can win. And if he was to do something federally like that, yes, I would vote for him. Because I know that him being who he is, he would clean up himself a little bit as far as like, you know, how he snaps on people and things like that. Snapping means joking. So yeah, I'm sure he would clean up the image a little bit better.
Nikki, may I say something real quick, y'all? I don't think he would need to change anything he does. People are, believe it or not, Donald Trump changed things, for better or for worse. If I was more of a standard politician, like I wore suits and I didn't go off and I wasn't going, you know, I was just a dude, these people wouldn't have want to be on their platform. Having a personality nowadays, it catches people's attention. People want politicians now with personality. I think Donald Trump kind of filled that bill. So now people don't want the boring, standard, cutboard type politician. A lot of times, especially our people who have been disappointed and neglected by the standard politician. A lot of our people now they like people with personality who are authentic. That's more authentic. So I think he would do just fine. His personality, it will make him authentic and relatable, I would say.
I totally agree with that perspective. You're right. Thank you for that.
It seems in the comment sections we're getting a lot of people saying that they're having connection issues. I'm sorry.
No, it is bad. It's really bad.
Yeah, it's nothing on our end that we can do about that. I'm just letting everybody know that there's nothing whatsoever that we can do to stop these connection issues. You know, I don't have any issues, but I have been in spaces where we've had plenty of issues in these spaces, so it's nothing I really can do about the actual connection issues that's going on with everybody.
And reinstalled it, because if it keeps happening with your spaces, that's strange.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I'm not having any issues myself, but we do have the issues with people and the connection issues. So, you know, all I can say is try to clear out the cache, but I don't really know what the issue is. We are having these issues and stuff, so hopefully, you know, I don't really know what the issues are, like I said, but hopefully for some of the people in here, it's not so bad and it'll clear up. I could just say, you know, try to clear the cache out in your phone. That's the only thing that I can really offer anybody. I mean, I am truly sorry about that we are still having these issues and whatnot. Charlie, go ahead and unmute your mic.
All right. What's up, y'all? I know he would win, but I remember Tariq always said if he was to ever run for kind of anything of a political position, that he would be assassinated overnight because he would allocate tangibles to FBA. You know, that's something that's kind of critical. That's something that is critical. Where, you know, I believe that would target him, and yeah, I mean that's what he said. So I don't know what you guys think about that. I don't know if he was joking. I don't think he was, but that's all I had to say.
Well, you never know until you actually run. So I mean that's something that we wouldn't know. I mean, he definitely would draw the eye of definitely mainstream media with his views and whatnot. Especially having anytime you have an agenda that's a black first type agenda, it's going to piss a lot of off. It's going to piss a lot of black off as well too. That's going to say that it's divisive. So it'll definitely catch the you know, I can't say about all the other stuff, but it definitely would catch the attention of a lot of major mainstream media outlets and everything else. So I mean, even the Democrat Party, I don't know whether he would run as a Democrat or independent or whatever, but
they'll be all right. They'll be all right. I mean, hell, they have fascinated us anyway. I mean, that's why I told my mother. I said, I'm not safe not running. I mean, it's like if he doesn't, they're gonna leave him alone. We got Breonna Taylor who was killed in her apartment. We got black people who have been killed
just because they had the audacity to call a cop to ask for roadside assistance. So we are no state for not running. It's because we're not safe that we need to run. All of us need to be running. So I think, they already have tried to swat his home and stuff like that. They'll just continue being the despicable people that they are. So, that's something to think about, but also we need to get on code and we need to say, I got your back. If I got to camp out in your front yard, I got your back. That's where we got to get on code and, put ourselves out there. But we have a poor record when it comes to us doing that. A poor, pathetic record.
Oh, can I ask a question right quick?
Go ahead.
Hey, Marcel, I was wondering, do you have, is there a YouTube page where all your videos, or like how you have little debates or conversations with people, kind of like how D. Tubman has every video, or YouTube that Tariq does? Is there someone who has that of you to look into, to look up?
D. Tubman has some on my website. I have most of my interviews on there. And there is a YouTube page, Greg Marcel Dixon, I think, for Congress or something like that. Sorry, can you use the microphone? Or different some YouTube, it's kind of loud. Thank you. There is a YouTube page, Greg Marcel Dixon for Congress. And that has the person that runs it uploads a lot of my videos. On my website, marcelforcongress.com, I have a lot of my interviews. I haven't updated in a while, and I have some new interviews to upload. And D. Tubman has some. And I'm going to send us some more to upload as well. That way I can have them saved.
All right, thank you.
All right, Black Pressure, go ahead and unmute your mic. And also, before you go ahead, I see that we had a like. You can in the comment section if you like. You can also come up and request to speak. No issue. If you like to come up and request to speak, just go ahead and request to speak. Raise your hand, and we will allow you to come up and speak. So no issue whatsoever for anyone that wants to step in, whether you agree, whether you would vote for him or you wouldn't vote for him, or you think it's a good thing, you think it's a bad thing. It's an open mic. Feel free to come up here and express yourself. So everybody, the one thing about us that this is an echo chamber. Everybody's not going to agree. I think most people wouldn't mind seeing him run or whatever, but I'm sure that you have some people in here that would say, hey, I don't think it's a good idea for one reason or another. So if you like to, like I say, like jokers, if you would like to come up here and request a mic, just come on up here, request to speak, raise your hand, and we will bring you up here and let you speak. Black Pressure, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Just want to say what's up to all the Black family. Respect to the host. Two quick things about that connection issue everybody's having. That's Twitter. Because I've been noticing that when I go I'll go in Jason Black rooms, I'll go in Tariq rooms, something Marcel has, I always lose connectivity. And I was like, okay, maybe it's my phone. I have a Galaxy. So I said, okay, let me kind of cross-reference. So I would go in the NPR rooms, and then Republicans and Black people for Trump never would lose connectivity one single time. Not one. So that's Twitter doing that to those rooms, just to let everybody know. But getting to the point, I think everybody in here, and I even think the people who do not like Tariq Nasheed, if he ran for any type of office, Pan-Africanists, even some of the African immigrants, they would line up and vote for him. But the only thing I would say about Tariq, he is known nationally, and he's also known internationally. So that would be something that would definitely be on his side. But you know how they would do. Especially Marcel said, if it was something federal, Tariq would be the most sabotaged candidate in history. They'd play every space he was in. They'd play his clips from Hidden Colors. They'd play all his YouTube clips talking about suspected white supremacists and all the jokes he makes about the different immigrants. So I just think he could be successful if everything was honest and on the up and up, but they sabotage him and wouldn't let him get off the ground. And I'll land my plane there.
I think he could still be successful, brother. If, like you say, if he's in a majority Black district, I think. Marcel, is that you? Yeah, I couldn't tell who was that. Marcel, were you trying to say something, or? I'm not sure who it might have been. We just heard a lot of static noise I don't know if Marcel, if that was you, you can come on up here and speak. What I was just saying is that I think, brother, he could be. I'm sorry, what was that?
Marcel, you in the Matrix, man.
Hello?
Yeah. Yeah, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
You're in the Matrix, Marcel.
Yeah, it's your phone. It's kind of like fluttering.
Okay.
You may have, yeah, it's your phone. It was kind of fluttering. I see he's trying to reconnect or whatever. So let me just let everybody know that we have absolutely no whatsoever, nothing that we can do about these spaces being that way. Our spaces didn't used to be choppy like this right here. It wasn't until it started gaining some steam that we're having issues and stuff like that with people coming in and the connection issues and stuff. So there's absolutely nothing on our end that we can do to go ahead and get rid of some of these connection issues. This is a Twitter thing. I don't know exactly. Like Black Pressure was saying, I've been in Twitter spaces where fine, and I've gone to others where things just messed up, so I don't really know what the issue is. But just back what you were saying, Black Pressure, is that I believe that he would even with all the stuff that they would put together, all of the things they would look at the clips and they would piece it together. And I'm in agreement with you. They would definitely make him that they would say that he is the most racist candidate to ever run for office in the United States. They would make him the equivalent of David Duke. And for those of you that don't know David Duke or wasn't around at the time, David Duke was a Klansman that ran for, I believe, governor of Louisiana back in the 90s or whatever. So they would try to equate him to something like that. My thing is that if he's in the district, like I was saying, that's predominantly black, 50% or more, he can connect with the younger voters and this and that. With his platform, his name, everything that he's done in the past, I don't think it would make a bit of difference. I think he would still be successful, but it would have to be a majority black district. It would have to be, if you're talking about something that's too close or whatever, blacks have to hold a majority there. That's just that. I just think that would be the way he would have to be successful. That it couldn't be something that was evenly split. Blacks would need to hold definitely would have to hold a majority, maybe even a decided majority. Marcel, you got your hand up. Go ahead and speak.
And I was going to say, sabotage is going to happen. They're always going to launch ads, take clips out of context. You got sorry coons that do that to me all the time. That's just going to happen. The difference is, one thing you don't do is you don't back down or get all apologize for what you said. You stand your ground. You explain why you said what you said. You don't. And he has the money to throw shots of his own. He has the money to get his word out there. So everything they throw at him, he has the ability to turn around on them and make it. And matter of fact, and the more they throw at him, that might help him. That might make him more of a story. That's why Clyde never really did a commercial attacking me, because he knew it would make it more of a story for me. So no, sabotage. Actually, if they want to try to play clips of him and get all his skeletons, quote unquote, that would actually probably serve his image. That would actually give him more of a platform.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you too. And like I said, you talk about somebody who's very witty, has charisma, has charm and whatnot. Even people that don't like Tariq and stuff, he still has them laughing and whatnot. So you talk about Tariq, he knows how to handle his own. He can get up there and he definitely can handle the conversation, whether he's on Fox. He's the type of person too that doesn't mind going behind enemy lines. So I can see him doing one of the biggest right-wing conservatives there are in the nation. Things that we've ever seen from the political sphere. I think that, like I said, he has a name, he has recognition, he has the money, like Marcel says. Not only that, but certain people can't take the heat, and I think he could take the heat. I think even people start talking about his past or trying to mix this or that or whatever. So what? We're talking about politics, and we're talking about the dirtiest business in the world. We've had people that were slave holders and colonizers and everything else, murderers and everything else. Mass murderers hold office in this country. So nobody's in any right mind can say anything about throwing somebody's past at them. Just the people that held the position of president of the United States have had all kind of things that they've done. The position of president of the United States have had all kind of things that they've done from the time that this nation was founded and whatnot. And I think he'd be fine on that. I think just from a certain point of view, you need to have numbers in your favor, and those numbers would be being in a black area where black people they form the majority. I think that would make the most sense. And I think if he did that he not only could win, but he could win by a pretty decent amount, just in my personal opinion. For everybody that's in the space, please make sure that you're following the host and the co-host. Make sure you're following the co-host and the host in here. Also, you can support us on Cash App, $Newstoter. That is $Newstoter. The links is up in the actual Jumbotron. We're going to actually put the YouTube channel in there as well. So make sure you guys follow us on YouTube as well. Insane, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with everything that you guys are offering in terms of him likely to be successful, as well as acknowledging the pitfalls that can be expected. Those are valid, but again, you're looking at an individual who is what you're describing is someone who's very polished, who can handle themselves in a debate. And do a very good job of selling themselves. That's what it takes. That's what all winners have. They're very polished, and no matter what's being said about them, they can handle it. And I see him being in that space, especially if he's surrounded by the right people, by the people who know all the angles, in terms of an artist. That's what you have to have around people who have a good perspective on any kind of issue or argument that arises. Somebody that can, prep you on that. So yeah, he could do it. He needs to be in the right district. Certainly the South is more favorable than I think the West, or the North to a degree. In terms of pushback, I think he would experience more pushback from the left, I believe, because some of the values or some of the things that we are wanting to see, especially when it comes to that immigration issue and the Second Amendment, that lines up, that crosses over to on the right. So, as a result of that, I think he will get more pushback from the media on the left. Now, there have been, I monitor a lot of sites. I'm on an extreme left, I monitor extreme right. I've heard them mention him. I've heard several people on Fox mention him, and he made a joke about Ann Coulter wanting to partner up with him. She actually said that on air, is what she said. But he doesn't want that. He's not. I don't perceive him trying to be a Republican. We're independent. We're moving toward being independent, and people keep trying to put us in that space. We're going to vote independent on policy. That's what we're trying to do. And then I've heard Steve Bannon on the War Room one time just mention his name, kind of like in a lighthearted way. So these people know who he is, and he could do this with the right platform, certainly, and in the right district. He could do that. He's polished just enough to handle, the talking points and the pushback that he might get from a mediocre newscaster or interviewer on either side. He can handle that. I'm confident of that.
No doubt. Thank you.
I was just going to ask Insane Optimus real quick. Something I wanted to ask you, bro, about that. Go ahead, just in case. I'll come back. My bad.
I'm gonna just be real brief. If Tariq Nasheed would run, I would definitely vote for him. Stranger Things, I think he could win too, depending on what office he would be running in and what that demographic looks like. Stranger Things that happened, they put down Trump like he could never win, and look what happened with him. I'm one of those people who I do believe that Trump actually did win the second election. It was too much fodder around this last election as far as more people voting than actually registered to vote and everything. I think there was a lot of crap going on with the last one. But I think Trump won it honestly when he won it the first two times, or when he won, and I think Tariq Nasheed could win because people are tired of the establishment. We see through them, they have our elected officials have no respect for us. And it's not about America first. If it was about America first, why would they keep on hurting the country as a whole? Here it is during COVID, we shut down our economy, and versus trying to regroup from shutting down our economy, what do?
we flooded our borders. We flooded our country with more mouths. People come to get more benefits and stuff like that we don't have to give. We have to recover. These people aren't for America. So yeah, I will vote for him. And I'll leave it there.
Thank you, sister. I see that you're not following Newstoter, so make sure you follow Newstoter. For everybody that doesn't know, Newstoter is the largest curator of Black news today in America, the largest Black-owned news curation site today in America. So if you're in this space and you're not following us, then please go ahead and make sure you go ahead and follow us so you can stay update what's going on in Black news today in America. MF Kush, go ahead and unmute your mic.
I just followed you.
Okay, I appreciate that, sister. Thank you.
Hey, just real quick, it's saying Optimus, what you think about Ann Coulter saying civil rights is for Black people? What's your thoughts on that? But let's go to MF Kush and we'll come back to you, okay? What's up, Kush? What's up, mama? Come on.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Shout out to y'all. If Tariq ran, I will most definitely vote for him at the end of the day. I mean, what it basically boils down to is that him, just like Marcel, has essentially advocated for us in the way that we need to be advocated for. There has not been any dirty plays. There's no misconception. There is no misleading in what we are standing for and what the message is. The message is A, B, and C, and that's just what it is. That is the biggest thing. When we're dealing with politics, it's important for people to understand, first of all, people's track record. It's also as well when we go into voting. Just because people look like us don't mean that they're advocating for us. It does not mean that they have our best interests at heart. And I do feel like Marcel and definitely Tariq are those individuals that have known us all this time and have made this stance for us where we can literally have a voice and we're not backing down. That is really important to me. There's not going to be no fact-telling. There ain't going to be no, this is da-da-da-da-da. We're standing on what we're saying. That's just what it is. And for him to be a straight shooter is something that I feel is more appreciated than anything else. There's no sugarcoating this anymore. We don't need to play nice anymore. We're not playing nice. We're taking what's owed to us, and that's just what it is. But I'm going to let my pain. Y'all have a good day.
All right, DJ, go ahead. Thank you again for your conversation tonight, MF.
No, I just piggyback off what Brother Insane was saying about Ann Coulter wanted to link up with Tariq, and I've heard that before. But what's your thoughts on her saying that civil rights is for Black folks strictly, not anybody else?
She's right about that, and most people in the community know that. That's a double-edged sword. It does two things. It introduces some of our talking points, but it also tries to pull. It's an attempt to pull Black people into that party. So it's a double-edged sword, but it's good that it's in the space. That's why we can't get confused and really need to start seeing ourselves as more independent than either Democrat or Republican, because we're going to get played in either party. But if we got a platform that's mixed and is working for us as opposed to working for one particular party, I think that is a very good independent space to be in. So yes, when she says that, she's telling the truth, but also it's a subtle attempt to pull more voters into the Republican Party. I mean, it's the same thing when Steve Bannon, I can't really remember what he said. He has this podcast, and they're all over China on his podcast, right? Just calling China out. But before he goes into the podcast, they have lighthearted conversation, and he just acknowledged Tariq one day. That was it. There was nothing said, more than just kind of like, some about Tariq, and that was it. Nothing else. But they clearly know who this man is, and there's almost, I guess, a matter of appreciation for standing up and not just taking crumbs from the Democrats, and not being valued as voters. So I think there's a certain amount of appreciation for that in itself.
All right. Thank you, bro. We're going to go ahead and go to the Black Pressure. Black Pressure, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Real quick, I want to shout out, I don't know the brother, but the brother that just Brother Insane, he beat me. God damn it, he beat me to it. I was going to say, when Ann Coulter said that was strictly political theater, but she's smart. Those white folks are smart because, like he said, She said that literally, it's akin to Donald Trump when he said that black people built this country. Donald Trump and Ann Coulter are both fire-breathing racists. You could go look at their narrative for the last 20, 30 years. You could YouTube them. They are trying to bolster votes for the Republican Party. That is it. Now, did she tell the truth? Absolutely. But don't believe for a second she believes or cares about that statement she made. And I'll land my plane there.
Jess Cakes, go ahead and unmute your mic.
All right, so to rebuttal what the last guy just said, do you not believe that Joe Biden is the starch racist bastard? You know, Trump and Ann Coulter, all of them could be racist people. I don't think for a second that Abraham Lincoln wasn't racist. I don't give a damn what their views are about me. It's about what they willing to do for my people. Whereas Donald Trump said that, he admitted that black people built this country. You can't even get Biden as a Democrat. And I'm not trying to get into this Democrat versus Republican thing, but we always so critical of the Republicans. And we never throw our support behind them. The people we should be critical of is those people that we actually give our support to. So, yeah, Ann Coulter and Trump might have said pandered, is the word you were looking for, pandered to us and everything else. But when Trump was in office, we actually got a little help while he was in office versus Biden, who every chance he get, he screws us over. The only thing we got was crack pipes during Black History Month. And I'll end it there for now.
Juneteenth and Hip Hop History Month, too. Those symbolisms are important.
Black Pressure, I see you got your hand up, so you can go ahead and respond if you like.
Yeah, I just want to clarify with the sister. Yeah, she's right. I don't want her to, misunderstand what I'm saying. I don't give a two pieces of damn about a Democrat or a Republican. I was just pointing out that, of course, we know Joe Biden is a fire-breathing racist, too. He wrote the 86 crime bill and he wrote the 94 crime bill, which led to the skyrocketing rates of black male incarceration. So, yeah, I was just pointing out, and I said exactly what I meant with Ann Coulter, purely political theater. That's all that statement was. Like I said, you can go look her up for the last 30 years. She hates black people. She literally, and him and Donald Trump, especially with that article he wrote in the New York Times about, I got those young cats that they said New York.
Part 5, but we call them the exonerated 5.
Exactly. Thank you, brother. I don't know why I couldn't think of that moniker. But yeah, you all of them are fire-breathing racists. And yes, Abraham Lincoln was a fire-breathing racist, but I don't care because of the policies that literally came from him. And Richard Nixon, another fire-breathing racist. But we managed, shout out to our elder Martin Luther King, to get certain policies out of him that benefited us too. So I just want to let the sister know, yes, I agree with everything she's saying, but I'm specifically pointing out Ann Coulter, and I'll land my plane there.
You're saying, go ahead and unmute your mic. And guys, make sure you go ahead and you support Newstoter on Cash App, $ Cash App, $ Cash App. It is Black Business Month, so support the largest Black curator today. I'm sorry. Damn, I keep saying $. Newstoter. Newstoter. I'm sorry about that. Once again, $ Newstoter. Insane. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, so I pretty much agree with what both of those two speakers, the last two speakers had to say. But again, no matter what's said, it's about the policy. As an independent, it's about the policy. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. It's about what policies that the candidate is handing down. You're right. Joe Biden is a virulent racist, and so is Trump. But policies are what matter in the grand scheme of things. And I think seeing ourselves as certainly myself as an independent, that's what I'm looking at. We had a lot of people who went out or were under the illusion that Biden wasn't a racist, so they voted against themselves. Essentially, is what they did. Because they felt like he wasn't a racist versus policy. There was no policy there for So certainly, there have been some people who did vote for Trump. They voted probably, you could say those people probably voted a little bit more for themselves in terms of policy. Here's one man trying to do something about immigration and another man telling you in a very nice way with a smile he's going to help the alphabet mafia and he's going to do something for immigrants. But he smiled at you when he said that, and you went and voted for him. So you voted against yourself, essentially, out of the choices. So again, it's about policy as an independent. People say and do things, but what policy is coming out of that party that are aligned with any of those people? And I'll land my plane with that.
DJ, you go ahead and get it and hold it down for me for 1 minute, and I'll be right back.
For sure, handle the business, bro. So with that being said, though, I want us to understand something because I play around with words. The word racist comes up a lot, right? So the definition of a racist is one who cares or is concerned strictly about their race. It comes from the root word, literally race, meaning a group of people. So I don't see anything wrong with them being racist. I think the problem with our issue is we're not racist enough as Black folks. We need to start being more racist, not towards another group or prejudice, because that will be the word we are actually looking for when we say they are racist. So we don't need to be prejudiced against anybody because we know we're not. But I don't think we're racist enough. You feel what I'm saying? As far as looking out for each other, being on code with one another. Yeah, them white folks, they ain't all on code with one another, but they'll be on code to go against us. So we got to do the same thing. You feel what I'm saying? So, I think Ann Coulter, yeah, she was pandering, like Just Cake said or whatever. So, okay, we could pander back to you. And I think that's a lot of folks don't understand as well. That's where the FBA was born out of. Tariq Nasheed and Antonio Moore got into a spat over the exact same thing. Who should we advocate to? You know what I mean? As far as tangibles and reparations. They had their little words, was what it was. Next thing you know, FBA was born out of that. Real shit, you know what I mean? So you got to go back 7-8 years to find that type of information or even know that. So I think Tariq is right in a way that we should advocate towards other political parties for our vote for tangibles. But I also believe Antonio Moore was right too, where it's that, if we put our voting block, we might be better off served, maybe. I don't see too many of us just flop into an independent type thing or even trying to start our own political party, even though that's what we should do. Form the Freedmen Party and, make sure that is on the voting block come 2024. Hell, we need to get it on the voting block because it's midterms right now to be a national thing for 2024. So always keep that in mind, folks. As a person who cares and sticks up for their race, Black folks ain't racist enough. We need to be more racist, because everybody's prejudiced to us on some real shit and use their racism to go against us. You know what I mean? So with that being said, you back, Tyler?
Yeah, I'm back. I was just gonna add this one thing. I'm not really, and I'm gonna get to you, Black by popular demand. I myself, I'm not really big on. I know everybody said forming your own political party, but the only fact is that there's no other group that forms a political party. I think what we need to go ahead and do is start vetting our politicians, and you know what I'm saying, and start voting on the block. I mean, we've already been voting on the block Democrats, so we just need to start voting on the block in terms of our actual agenda. That's something that we haven't been doing. We haven't chosen an agenda and voted on the block for. So people can say, like, voting on the block isn't anything new for Black people. You've been doing this 60 years. You've been voting Democrat. So that's not anything new. I just don't think when people say that we should form our own political parties and this and that or whatever, like, there's no other, like, you don't see the Asians, you don't see the Hispanics, the Jews, the LGBT, they own political parties. What we need to do is go ahead and start voting on the block, having that mindset, and pretty much vetting our politicians. That's what I think we actually need to do right there myself. That's just my personal opinion. Black by popular demand. You go ahead and unmute your mic.
Peace and reparations, family. Thank you for the space. I was listening and I had popped in the room. It just mentioned.
We kind of lost you a little bit, brother.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
Yeah, your mic is just choppy. Just try to speak straight into your speaker, brother.
Okay, all right, thank you. I when brother started talking about our own party, it just made me want to jump in because we do have our own party. There is a Freedmen Party, and it's in its infancy, but it's something that we can build. And I wanted to talk about, because the Newstoter, I hear what you're saying about us not, no other group does it, but remember, we're a larger group than the each of the Latino ethnicities, because remember, that's not a race, that's a group of very, very, very different people from very different countries that are all thrown under one title of Latino, but they don't vote as a bloc. They never vote as a bloc. They don't act as a bloc. They don't think as a bloc. Asians, the same thing. And their population, the Asian population, is not large enough to warrant them creating a party. But we are the backbone of the Democratic Party. And if we move over to the Republican, we would be the backbone of the Republican Party. Not necessarily larger than all of white America, but certainly if you look at the numbers that voted in previous elections, I believe it was in the 70s of millions for both Trump and for Biden. You'll see that with the 40 million Black Americans that are in this country, we have that would represent enough people to push either party over the finish line. And so when we talk about having our own party, it doesn't mean that all Black people vote for a candidate that's running as a member of our own party. It could also mean, as and I don't speak for the Freedmen Party, I'm not a member of it yet, but maybe the chairman will come up. But it's also about vetting candidates and endorsing candidates, even of the major parties that are in line with what we need to be that party. It gives us something, because right now we vote monolithically to a certain extent, but it's so easy for people to just do their own thing and go their own way, because there's no challenging of these candidates and vetting of these candidates, and there's no commonality of what it takes to vet them and what we're looking. There's those conversations are just really starting to happen in more mainstream as we speak. But there needs to be more concrete messaging and directional positioning of these candidates that say, okay, this person on the Republican side, he's for reparations or for this or for that, and so we want to get him to sign a pledge. And this guy's on the Democratic side, and we want him also to sign a pledge. And now, if we have a candidate in both primaries that is in any way talking about our issues, and that becomes a campaign issue. And we need our issues to become campaign issues in every election that is in any area where we're affected. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there, is that's I think what we really need to be looking at, because the Democrats are always Black Democrats are always going to be Democrat first. That's a problem. That's the problem that we've had with our elected officials up till now, is that when the rubber meets the road, they don't get support from the party if they don't sign up for the party line and toe the party line all the way. And the same thing would be with Republican. And so it's very clear that it's a hard road for us to get our issues on the front stage, because these candidates are not willing to not be supported by their party. And I'll land there and let somebody else talk, but I just wanted to throw that in there. Appreciate it.
I get what you're saying to a certain degree, that these other groups aren't large enough, but as a party, just having a Black party itself, we're not large enough on ourselves by our own to actually change the entire election. If we talk about voting, if we talk about having an independent party, I feel that we can still be an independent right now, an independent voter, and still vet our candidates. Like, we don't need to form a party that Tariq ran out, so he's running tomorrow for us for our support behind them. And that's just my personal opinion. I get what you're saying with the Asians, Hispanics. Truthfully, I mean, they are. I mean, I know that's kind of touchy there, because Hispanics, you got so many that actually identify as white and this and that or whatever. But let's just say Hispanics themselves, the ones that identify as white and the ones that identify as Black, they all classified as Hispanics. Like, they don't even have their own political party. So what I'm saying is that like I said, as long as we actually have an agenda and we're vetting our own people, I really don't see the need of it or whatever, because like I said, you're still going to almost have to still go into one of these parties, take your candidate and still have them go in one of these parties or whatever. So why not just go ahead vote in the block. We've been doing it for 60 years. Go ahead, get our agenda straight, and then just go ahead and put our candidates out there. Go ahead and vet them. Go ahead and vet them from the time they're in college or whatever. They're taking up political science. They have ambitions of being a politician and whatnot. Go ahead and we start vetting our people, putting them out there, making sure they have our agenda, and whether they run as an independent, Democrat, or Republican. Marcel was a Democrat, yet he still had a mindset of most of the people that's in this room. You know, I think that would be more. I just think that'd be more beneficial to us as a people. I just don't think coming out tomorrow and saying that we're going to have the so-and-so party or whatever, it's really going to really change the landscapes of politics here in America for Black people. I think, like I said, we are a big enough group that I think that we can go ahead and we can pretty much start putting candidates out there, reparationists, people with a Black first agenda or whatever, put them out there in the fold or whatever, and let these people run for office and support them, throw dollars behind them, throw support, help them with advertising and everything else. But just pretty much just having a political party out there, a party that's going to be a distant third at that, just by pure numbers alone. Because even if you form a Black party, you're not going to get the vast majority of Black people that's Democrats to go ahead and join that party, because they're going to feel like that party doesn't have a realistic chance of winning. Like you said, we got Black people that's Democrat first, Black second. Well, we also have Black Republicans like Tim Scott and a lot of conservatives in this country that are Republican first and Black second as well, too. So I just personally don't see the actual benefit in having that. I'm not totally against it or anything like that, but I think that we have enough, just like any other group, we get to the point where our economics, we can go ahead and we support our candidates. We don't need to actually worry about these parties. We can pretty much dictate to them where our votes don't go, depending on what agenda and what platform that they're up here putting out there. So that's just my personal opinion. Original, you got your hand up. Go ahead, unmute your mic.
Yeah, peace and safe passage to everyone. You know, Newstoter, I have to tell you this. You know, one of the last times I would listen to a broadcast, and it was very choppy. But as soon as you went off the air, I saw another broadcast someone was, another space someone was having, and I clicked into that space. No issues whatsoever. Okay, so I think it is Twitter. They understand that this is the number one news site in America right now, and they understand that this site does not promote the Democratic platform or whatever, and they're going to do what they can to sabotage it. But what I want to say is this: see, a lot of people, but I would say this: white people they were upset when they set Marion Barry up, with the lady in the hotel, the agent. And when he went through all of that, and then he came back and they voted him back onto the city council. Now the white folks were upset because they called those Black people in D.C. all kind of pejorative names. But see, here's the issue: Marion Barry, even when he was on the city council before he became mayor, he always brought them resources, and that is what's key and critical. Anyone that brings Black people resources, the Democrats don't like. And yeah, I think Marion Barry was a Democrat, but they don't like that when they bring Black people. You can bring anyone else resources, but if you deliver resources to Black people, Houston, we have a problem. And remember, I told you I'm still working on this. I kind of got a little sidetracked, but I'm going through all these Black elected officials here in the state of Georgia, and I'm looking at their districts. And so far, what I have compiled so far is that the majority of these people in these districts that I have compiled, their districts are like their districts are like 60 or 60% Black. And so when I look at that, but then when I look at the policies that are pushed in the state of Georgia for Black people, they're null and void. I mean, just like Big Swole is running for governor now, right now. And I saw where she had met with some Black men. Somebody posted something where it was stated that she said, if Black men vote for me, that she would win. But see, she's not offering black people, period, any resources. The people that she's offering resources are like the gay white community and the illegal aliens. But the illegal aliens can't vote her into office, and that's what they are afraid of. But I just want to share that, and I'll land my plane because I think we have to look at I think what more people should start doing, looking at the state in which they reside, and start pulling the demographic issue for each black elected official in a district that they represent, and look at what's going on, and look at the percentage of the black people in those districts, and look at the policies that they are pushing. But yes, Tariq, I would vote for him hands down, and I'll let my play.
Thank you, brother. Thank you once again. And we know Twitter's doing something with the spot, because when we used to do these spaces, we definitely did not have these kind of issues before. And as the spaces have attracted more and more people, that's why we go ahead and record it. Just because, so if we didn't record it, that means people couldn't go back and listen to it. So at least by recording it, people can go back and catch it. And I'm sure the audio and everything isn't all janky and whatnot as it is now. So if we didn't record it, people wouldn't be able to catch it live, and they wouldn't have a way of replaying it. So that's why we record these spaces. DJ, go ahead. I know you wanted to go ahead and add on something.
Yeah, hold on. Give me a second, brother. Apologies.
Yeah, for everybody that's in the space, go ahead and tweet it out. For all you guys, we have the YouTube channel in there. Let's take a second. Follow Newstoter. It's in the Jumbotron. It is in the Jumbotron. So please go ahead. It is the third to the left. The third button to the left. Go ahead and click that. Follow us. Help us grow on the actual Newstoter YouTube channel. You can go ahead and just click that and subscribe right now while we're in the actual space right now. That would be a big help. That would be a huge help. Thank you to everybody that's in here. And please, guys, also support us on Cash App. If you have $1 that you would like to contribute to the largest black curator, please go ahead. $ Newstoter. That is $ Newstoter. DJ, you ready?
No, go ahead. Let somebody else work real quick. I'm over here working the message boards.
Please. No, I mean, don't even worry about the message boards. Like, people want to comment and leave whatever they want to leave, man. So,
no, I'm on different sites too. I'm on different social sites too, posting our Twitter space so people, be talking or whatever.
Okay. So yeah, pretty much we just like, you know what I'm saying? This space, Tariq had that, he had the actual tweet that he sent out. He created a poll, something like over 11,000 people went ahead and responded to it about could he win basically if he ran for office. I tweeted, I thought that he definitely would have a good chance if he was in a predominantly black area. If he was in a predominantly black area, I thought he definitely would have a chance or whatever. So I wouldn't have an issue voting for him. Like Marcel said, I know Marcel was talking about federal. I think that he would need to definitely be in a majority black area, and definitely would need to get the younger folks, the 18 to probably 45-year-olds, 50-year-olds, in order to really have a real legit shot of actually pulling it off. So if anybody's in the space right now, I see you up in the space. Any of our speakers that want to add on to the folks who haven't spoke tonight, I've offered a couple people that left comments and stuff like that. I know somebody was saying that he wouldn't do this or do that, so I offered the person a chance to come up here and actually say something about it. They just say, yeah, I appreciate it, whatever. So, a lot of times people like to leave comments, but don't really want to get on the mic. So I definitely like hearing different people's point of view, different perspectives. Everybody does not always have to be in agreement. You can respect somebody's decision or opinion, even if you don't agree with it. That's one thing that we do need to do better as a people. Respect people's opinions, respect how people view certain things, because we're not all going to agree on the same thing all the time. So, Mark, would you like to say anything? Or I know Black by Popular Demand, you already said something, so I'm just trying to see if any of our speakers up here and saying, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, once again, man, thanks for holding the space. Shout out to everybody in the space. Black by Demand, the Fremont Party and the need for another party is definitely, I feel like, a good conversation. For me is, on what level can the party be effective? Obviously to build out the type of infrastructure you need or federal stands, requires a lot. So where are you most effective in the next year, 2 years? Is it at the local level and putting candidates in positions at that local level, and then educating the public, the followers, about who on the national level is doing a good thing? Say for instance, a candidate in Atlanta or mayor in Durham, that's coming from the ranks of the Freedom Party. Are they there to endorse certain candidates and educate the public about who we are wanting to see and why we see them in office? Is that an effective strategy for a Freedom Party, just being involved in heavily involved in local politics? Is that an idea that's entertained at all?
So I don't want to speak for the Freedom Party because I am not joining the party at this point, and I'm certainly not in the know of exactly what they're doing. The chair party is here in the room. I hate to put him on the spot, but I'm hoping he'll come up and talk. But I think there is a strategy, and say that they have talked a little bit in public on this platform about that's not their strategy. But I don't want to speak for them. I want to give them the opportunity to speak for themselves.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I've been in conversations with them, and I like the question is for me where it's most effective at. And again, if you got a number of candidates, I feel, involved in local politics, which is very important to us. School board issues, those types of things, zoning issues, very important. So, in addition to dealing with that, I'm simply curious to know, and that's for anybody in the space, are they effective also dealing with local politics, but also educating the local populace about who's got policy and who we're endorsing versus who we're not endorsing, and the problems with certain policies that people are trying to get us to embrace. That's just a question that I'm putting out there. That's all.
Well, I mean, if the Freedom Party founder wants to come up here and speak, he's more than welcome. It's kind of not what the discussion is tonight. But I know sometimes we have these discussions, we kind of drift off or whatnot. Let me just ask you, because and this is for everybody in the room. If say Tariq by the end of the week say, you know what, I'm serious, I want to go ahead and run for office, where would he be most effective at in anybody's opinion? Would it be down here in the deep south? Would it be staying out there in Cali on the west coast? Where would he be most effective at it, and what type of position should he go after? I know Marcel was saying we need the federal help, but what about in some, because we have plenty of cities in the country that do have a black majority. Would he effective as a black mayor somewhere or black county commissioner? Exactly what area, what position, what title, what office would he be best effective, just in anybody's opinion in here, of running if he decided to this week? You know what? I think this is something that can help the people. I'm down for running for office or whatever. Exactly what region of the country would he be most effective? I know Marcel was saying Louisiana and whatnot, and we have a lot of states in the South that have majority black cities or whatever, even some majority black districts. So just to try to see what they thought about, where would he be best at in terms of trying to run and hold office and stuff in the United States. Anybody could kind of answer that question just to let me know where they think that he would be most effective and beneficial black people at in terms of holding office at. Could it be Florida? Could it be Georgia? Could it be the Midwest? Could it be California? South Carolina, where Marcel's at? Exactly where would he be best served at? What position? Congressman, senator, mayor, lieutenant governor.
Well, let me say this, because politically, one person can't make anything happen. Let's be very clear that when it comes to politics, it takes a body. It takes a certain amount of votes to get anything passed. And so let's not fall in love with one person, because that one person will every chance they get, they will run circles around that one person. They will outvote them. They will out-organize them. So this is about a body of us across the country taking either party by storm, because we don't own either party first and foremost. Okay, and to talk about
real quick before we go, who's speaking? Because I can't see who's speaking.
Mark. This is Mark.
Okay, and just so we clear, Mark, that you're right. One candidate can't do anything,
right?
But the actual topic of the night was actually just about where would he fit. Like, could he win? Would you vote for him or whatever? So this is just basically where would he be most effective at? What state? What city? What position? Whatever. Because we know there's never been a person in history, black or white or whatever, that one person has won an election all by themselves or did anything all by themselves. But just hypothetically speaking, where would he serve as a candidate? Where would he actually go at and be most beneficial and have a likelihood of actually winning an actual election against somebody?
Well, I mean, when you look at a mayor's seat, you still have limited power. I mean, you can, take over one of these cities. But again, I don't want to be misleading, because, I know how this political stuff works after 25 years in this game, right? And so this is about the power of us using his ability to organize, and then and taking that body of people and taking the politics by storm in multiple cities. If you had to concentrate in an area, that area where we would have a lot of power would be in the South. I mean, there's a lot of concentrated black people in the South, but just if everybody is going to take that lead from him in terms of organizing, we had better move in multiple cities, multiple states, because the move now in the Democratic Party is to do just that with their people. And in return, they have already targeted a vote base, a working base, and that voting and working base is not us. And so we have to be way bigger than just one person. They have the ability to galvanize people, then do it that way.
Yeah, and I'm in agreement with you. Like I say, I'm totally in agreement with you. One person is not going to do anything by themselves. That you have to have the backing, you have to have the numbers behind you. So I mean, I don't want you to think that I'm not agreeing with what you're saying. I'm just trying to exactly see where would he be better served at if this hypothetically was to happen. Because personally, I myself, he seems like I don't know him personally. He seems like he has a pretty good life. So I don't even know why most people even want that pressure, that added pressure, and that stress that comes with politics and whatnot. But if he did decide one day to go ahead and run, then that would be like a big up to him. And definitely, I would throw my support behind him or whatever. Definitely like to see exactly what he could do if he got the opportunity. But like you said, yeah, just like anything else, we have elected black officials. They're in different areas, different regions of the country and whatnot. So my main thing is just saying like where would he be at? Because we have Maxine Waters, like they said, that's out there in California. We have Kendrick Meeks here in Florida in his district. We have black people all throughout the country in different districts and whatnot. So I'm just trying to see where somebody like him with his name and whatnot, his clout or whatever, what could be better served at in terms of helping people, and galvanizing, the efforts and stuff of the grassroots of the black people. Because right now we do seem to have a more, I hate using the word woke, but we definitely seem to have a different type of focus in terms of black politics, at least, and I'm sure that you'd have some people that's in mainstream politics to tell you that the focus is never going away and this and that. But I think we kind of calling things a lot more for what they are. And we're not just following with the same company line that we've been hearing for 60 some odd years and whatnot. So I definitely think, like when people talk about having a Freeman party and this and that or whatever, I don't have any issues with that. I just think that we definitely to the point where we can just go ahead and start vetting our own actual politicians and whatnot, putting them out there on major platforms, backing them financially, backing them with advertisement, backing them with whatever we can do, so they can go ahead and they can push things further for us. DJ, I see you got back. You have an audio issue, man?
No. I just had dropped out for a second or whatever, clicking all these different links and answering people. But I'm here though. I'm listening to y'all. I mean, we agree to agree, man. But go ahead.
Okay, well, we're not going to, I didn't want to hold a long space tonight, so we're going to go ahead and if there's anything else anybody like to add to the conversation tonight. If not, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to close it out because I didn't want to have a long conversation. The Freedman Party, I see you you got your hand up. You can go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, I just wanted to add a few notes in terms of our political power. I put 2 tweets in the Jumbotron. In terms of our overall numbers, there's 32 million eligible Freedmen voters. Most presidential elections are determined by a few million, like less than 7 million in the last election. And then in terms of our congressional power, there's about 60 people in the Congressional Black Caucus. Those seats can obviously be challenged. And then there's also about 6 other seats that we have Black majorities in districts or more Black people than white people in that district. Those are 6, so we could have probably around 70 seats in the House. And then in terms of, a Senate, there's 100 Senate seats. And many of the states in the South, as we know, have Black majorities, and those seats, it's about 10 to 20 Senate seats that we can have if we get organized. And if you look at our numbers based on the 2020 numbers, there's 13.4 million of us that are Democrats, 6 million are independents, and 600,000 are Republicans, and 12 million of us don't vote or are not registered. So with the numbers from the non-voters and the independents, if they got together, they could silence the Republicans and the Democrats. And then if you look at what happened during Reconstruction, there was 2,000 elected freedmen in elected office all over the country. They voted at an 80% turnout rate. Right now we're at 60% turnout rate. The highest we've had since Reconstruction was 2008 and 2012 when we got finessed by Obama. But it proves that if we can come out to vote and get anyone elected as we vote as a bloc. We served the Democrats for 76 years, the Republicans for 74 years. That's 150 years of us not having our own party and not having the real political power that we should have. So I think we got to get back to actually organizing our vote, pulling our voice and our value together. And we have right now a Freedman Party boot camp. Anybody can go to it for free, learn about it. And, I agree that we need to run candidates all over this country. And people need to feel confident that they can do it. If you don't feel like there's someone in your area that you would vote for, that means you need to consider strongly running yourself. We have to get out of this mindset that we'll let other people rule us and just kind of throw away the political process. Voting decides everything. So we should come out and vote and determine our own politics. And we could run a lot of this country in terms of our actual numbers. We have the highest turnout rates in terms of voters, but we're not voting for our own interests right now based on the current numbers. So if we come together around our own Freedmen agenda, we have reparations now, Freedmen Reconstruction, and genocide prevention as our 3 agenda items. And the goal is to, fire the CBC, put our own people into office that have that Freedmen agenda, and then run people on the city and state level as well. So state senate, mayors, judges, DAs, like sheriffs, like all of these are elected positions, and we need to control them and not have these seats controlled, especially when we have the people that have enough votes in those areas.
Hey, and when you speak on Tariq running, I mean, everywhere across the country, if you look at all of the indicators, from unemployment to poverty to crime, bad schools, when it comes to black, and I'm talking about descendants of American chattel slavery. I'm not talking about what they consider as blacks, but you talking about our people who are foundational to this country. Every single city, we have we have unemployment numbers higher than the Depression, and it was considered a depression when unemployment only went up to 25%. Like Dr. Claude Anderson said, unemployment has never come down to 25% for our people. And they want us to think it's normal. They blame us, even though we send them to office to go get resources to lower the unemployment. And so it's time that we send that message that they're not the Black Caucus, they're the Black Carcass, because they're a dead body of people. And a lot of those members are immigrants, are Black immigrants, Africans and Caribbeans. And so a lot of what's being voted for is in the interest of people that don't give a damn about us, who are here to really replace us. You have no allies in any group. Nobody is your allies, especially when it comes to these immigrants. They are not with you at all. And so the thing is, like I say, any one of these cities, any of these states, when you look at that a majority of people, all numbers, all indicators at an all-time high. So he can go anywhere and lay the foundation. And then everybody else could follow. And then, two, know what you're getting yourself into. Because politics is a very dirty game. And they're very intentional. A lot of what you're seeing, this is intentionally happening. And I'm telling you, from almost 25 years in this game, when I first got into politics, I didn't even know that I was working against my own interests. I didn't know I was working against the interests of our people. Because I was listening to some older Black people that I thought that we can trust. See, you've been taught to see the white races, but nobody showed you that black racist that hates you just as much as that white racist does. They all work hand in hand, no matter what side it is. And mainly our people have been voting in Democratic districts, cities, counties, and states. And so these Democrats, Black Democrats who are partnered with white Democrats, that's continuing to allow unemployment to be higher than depression, murder to run rampant in places like Baltimore, Detroit, Chicago, all these places where we are. These are not just white people doing this. And I'm speaking as a 50-year-old Black man that as long as you go along with the same old business as usual, nothing is going to change in your city.
Hey Mark, not to cut you off, brother, but we have a couple more hands that we're gonna get to. The last two hands of the night, Insane and Charlie. So we're just trying to go ahead because we want to wrap the space up because we didn't intend to be on long. So you guys, in 2 minutes, go ahead and kind of pretty much summarize what you want to go ahead and say because we're gonna be shutting the space down. So Insane and then Charlie, try to keep it 2 minutes if you can.
Newstoter,
brother.
Newstoter, Mark, Freedom Party. I value and Kite. I value what you're doing here. I just got a quick question. You're talking about Freedom Party. You're talking about viability. What's least viable and what's most viable in your opinion, based on what you understand about the political landscape in the South for any candidate? Tariq, we don't know what he's going to do, but say, for instance, if you want to put somebody out there in a southern state, what's highly viable, but as opposed to least likely?
Yeah, that's a great question. We're looking at this data in terms of the districts. Here's the 6 seats that we could have in the House that we don't have, but they have a majority. There's more Black people than white people in that district. California District 44, Florida District 20, Michigan District 13, New York District 13, Tennessee District 9, and Texas District 29. And that would be 6 more seats we could have in the House in addition to replacing the 60 people in the CBC. I think Tariq, he could definitely win a House seat. He could potentially even win a Senate seat if he goes to a state where there's a significant Black population, where there's a Black majority. there's Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama. DC has 46%. Unfortunately, it's just like not considered a state, right? So the amount of power is a little bit diminished. And then where else? Texas, Florida, and he could even win like state senate. So he could run for a district in California and become a state legislator, for example, or run for a House district or a Senate seat. I think those are his most likely. Obviously, it's easier to win a House seat because it's less voters you need, but then Senate seats, you usually need like hundreds of thousands or millions of votes compared to district seats, which are like 1,000 to 10,000 votes in the primary. But he's popular, so he obviously can garner that, but he has to go and focus on getting people registered and like the people that would vote for him registered. You know what I mean? Like if he held spaces and was like, hey, like whoever wants to vote for me for this position, let's get you registered if you're not.
Agreed. I definitely agree with that. I think he'd be better served, like I said, in the South. And actually, like I say, any place that's a majority black district, I think he has a realistic shot. Especially if you talk about a Congress seat, or like you just say, a state Senate seat. Now, if you're talking about the the actual senator for the actual state, that may be a little bit depending on what state. It's all about the state, the area, the region, and the population or whatever. But I think in terms of a congressman, possibly even a state senate seat, depending on the actual state that he's in. Insane, go ahead and unmute your mic. We're going to let Insane and Charlie, they're going to be the last two speakers for tonight. So Insane and then Charlie, let's keep it to go about 2 minutes each, fellas, if we can.
I'm done. He answered he answered my question. I'm done.
Okay, no doubt. Charlie, go ahead and unmute your mic.
I appreciate it, brother. I was wondering, as far as like the Freedmen's Bureau, is it possible, like as far as immigrants, as far as tethers, or just African people, is there a way maybe that FBA can like monitor, say so, as far as if when or what Africans or anybody just outside of America that's black descent, whatever, to like monitor whether they can come here or not, ask them questions, kind of like how they vet them. Is there a way, is it possible where we could be there to vet them, see what their agenda is and their mentality, and be like, nope, stay where you're at, stuff like that. Yeah, that was about it. Because I was just thinking, like, because I know the government, immigration office, all that's ran by white folks and whatnot. They vet them. But if we, get our weight up, is there a way we can kind of be in that, where we just kind of regulate, what black people come over here and how many, or if not at all? That was my question.
On that part, I'm not entirely sure. That's a good question, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure about that part there. Freeman, would you like to respond to that?
Yeah, so you would have to change the rules around immigration and naturalization. So you know how people take tests and they get quizzed on like American history and facts? We need to make our Freedmen history part of that as well, so that they're vetted through, part of the naturalization process.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and first and give a shout out to Dia for your contribution on Cash App. Definitely appreciate you, sister. Thank you so much. It's hard work, but definitely thank you. Appreciate you for supporting Newstoter and Black Business Month. Definitely thank you again, sister. Thank you for your contribution to supporting us, the largest Black curation platform, Black-owned platform today in America. Thank you also for showing that support and love to us during Black Business Month as well. So thank you, Dia. I definitely appreciate that. DJ, go ahead. I know you got your hand up.
Yeah, Charlie, I was just going to say, check the Jumbotron far left side, bro. We know what we're talking about. So, we doing our thing over here as far as this black media and just trying to get the word out. But yeah, definitely follow the homie, the Freedman Party right here for sure. Follow the Freedman Party, y'all. Follow the Freedman Party for sure. And brother Black State Majority down there in the chat right here. He right next to you, Charlie. If you can see him, got the red bean right next to him. Follow that brother right there, man.
Also follow the co-host as well too, and make sure you guys, like I said, we put in the jumbotron. We put the actual YouTube channel up in there, so you guys get a chance. If you're not, then if you just go to YouTube afterwards and put in Newstoter and subscribe to the YouTube channel, we definitely appreciate that. We're definitely trying to get the message out there as much as possible. Tomorrow we'll be back on the regular news grind, so expect for us to put out about 20 articles, 15 to 20 articles, newsworthy articles for you guys to keep up on. And don't just click the link and leave a comment. Please go to the website, actually visit the site. Actually take 30 seconds out today and go and visit newstoter.com. That is newstoter.com. So we definitely need that support. On that note, I'm going to go ahead and close this out because we didn't intend for this to be a long space. Just wanted to get everybody's opinion on this situation, the poll that Tariq put out. We will be back tomorrow. If you guys don't know, Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the actual Twitter spaces that we hold. Not exactly sure what space we're going to hold tomorrow. I got an idea too, but definitely make sure you guys catch us tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you guys can also support us on Cash App. That is $Newstoter. Once again, that is $Newstoter. To everybody that came into space, I want to thank you. I appreciate you coming in and supporting, whether you spoke, you just